cats randomly feeding on torso when we know that they eat the soft tissue of the face before anything else?
All of them feline.
Person of interest at crime scene goes unapproached by police officers. No one's keeping a log of who's entering this crime scene. I really hope footprints don't become important later on. Footprints become important later on.
Hey, rigor mortis is passed. Lividity is fixed. Extensive marbling on her limbs. She's been dead 3 or 4 days.
Lividity can become fixed after 6 hours. How does that help him come up with this 3 to 4 days range? If you're wondering if any of the investigators would think to turn on the lights so they don't have to rely on a single flashlight to find evidence, the answer is no, they will not. Didn't that guy say there was extensive marbling? Where? Also, there's no way this lady's been dead for 3 to 4 days. We've already seen that she has an open wound and is exposed to the elements. We have to believe that no bugs have colonized there for 3 days? Despite the fact that animal control is rounding up the cats throughout this entire scene, we see no evidence of them taking photographs of the cats, numbering the cats, or even remotely trying to document their presence in any way. Doesn't think to photograph this evidence before she starts messing with it. He only looks for fingerprints in one 3-inch area on a random part of the safe and, of course, lifts prints. Does anyone ever ask these guys to show some form of ID before they just walk into a crime scene? Or at least get their shoe prints or something?
Can't tell you much about the weapon.
Sure you can. Wounds tend to retain the shape of the weapon. You have the size, depth, and width of the wound track, so you should have a pretty good idea of what this weapon looks like. At the very least, you should be able to exclude any weapon smaller than the measurements you have.
It's 2. So Jessica, can you tell me what you told your mom?
What are these guys' jobs again? An entomologist and a crime lab supervisor? Why are they conducting this interview? Why didn't the homicide detective who found these girls do it himself? This car will not be involved in a superglue fuming incident that will burn up the entire lab.
If you're implying I had anything to do with all this, I love my wife.
That didn't answer that question. I'm pretty sure the automated fingerprint identification system works off a point system, not a drag and drop to find a perfect match one.
Marcy handles the payroll, and she has a rep for a short change in overtime. Talk about pissing people off. Any one of those guys could have put that bomb in her car.
This information seems pretty important. Sure you don't want to record this conversation or transcribe it or something? I guess that's what happens when you put the lab techs in charge of interrogations.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here for your shoes.
This search warrant is in size 20 Gothic font. If they knew the print had a small, boxy heel, why would they take the giant boots? Or the stilettos? There's no way those prints will match up.
Well, she had an answer for everything.
We wouldn't know, considering you didn't record any of those answers down.
For Johnny Cladden's home and for Tobin's C&D.
You gonna take a chain of custody form with you wherever you're gonna drop that evidence off?
The neighbor's alibi does check out. She was at her sister's in L.A. during the time of the murder.
Well, there goes our only suspect.
Hey, you didn't disprove the cats.
Teeth.
Neither of these impressions look anything like the mark that tool just made. This protective gear is not conducive to lab safety.
Knives, screwdriver, ice pick, letter opener. We're looking for a weapon with a splash of mineral oil.
Knives? Wasn't that puncture wound perfectly circular? Does she really think a knife would cause that kind of injury? I'm taking away one sin because they're using alternative light sources to try to find trace evidence, but I'm also adding one because throughout the whole time they only use one light glasses combination, even though they're doing a variety of materials. Come on, guys.
I want her to do it.
If he was planning on taking the swab, why wasn't he wearing gloves?
That cat has an open sore and a missing patch of fur, both indicative of possible staph infection.
What would testing the cat for staph prove? That the cat was around the dead lady? Can't they prove that already based on, the fact they found the cat in her house?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Mechanics use vice grips.
You got any clay?
No.
Take photos of this. If he wises up and throws that thing away, you'll have nothing linking him to this evidence. Suddenly, point matches are a thing.
Ma'am, you and your father conspired to frame your husband for attempted murder.
So you're both looking at what, 20 plus?
I genuinely don't think this is true. There's no way to prove that she meant to frame her husband. Sure, she made the bomb and she blew up her car, but nothing in that inherently suggests she meant to pin it on him, at least not beyond a reasonable doubt a jury would need to convict her of it.
Could Rascal have been her cat at one time?
Now that I think about it, why is Grissom even in this episode? He's a forensic entomologist. There were no bugs. Isn't there some other bug-related case he should be working on right now? Isn't this just a waste of his time?
He's always at our house.
If the three of them were traipsing around the house the day of the murder, how come the investigators found like 5 of the neighbors' footprints and none of theirs? She was there days before them. They were walking in the exact same place. That's just shoddy investigative work.
Tell your mother!
Wait. We're supposed to believe that an 8-year-old girl is strong enough to force a pen through a woman's sternum? Do you know how much force he'd have to apply to the tip of a ballpoint pen before it would penetrate human skin? Unless this girl is secretly a Navy SEAL, I'm not buying it.